Very shortly, we'll be joining with the Minister of Agriculture, Lands and Fisheries, and we will be talking about cocoa, and we'll be talking about a number of workers that are dismissed and what exactly does that means. I want to go back with my guest, co-founder. He is also the CEO. Chief Executive Officer of Disclosure Today. He is Rishi Maharaj, and we are talking about some of the issues that his advocacy group pursuing. I do want to go into this area of the Marriage Act. It is said that we must bring this in alignment with what is an adult in Trinidad and Tobago. As you know, we are signatories to UN conventions and treaties, among them being UN recognition that an adult is 18 years and above. Any other law you have that is different to that is contradicting that. When you sign a treaty, you consider that and know that you had to make changes. I don't understand how it has existed for this long that you have an international treaty that say 18 years is the age of adulthood, the demarcation line between a child and an adult. And you have this existing for such a long time. However, moves are being made to do that. There are many people who are pushing back against it. What is the position of Disclosure Today?
Our position is quite clear. We have Trinidad and Tobago has been signed to the UN Convention on Human Rights and the UN Convention to the Rights of the Child. And in all those the different conventions, also the Inter-American Human Rights Convention talks about the whole idea of a child and the definition of a child and adult. An adult is 18 years and over, and all these different treaties have been not only signed by Trinidad and Tobago but also ratified. So by ratifying, it means you accept it as part of your modus, and now you have to amend your legislation and be able to conform to these different regulations. So we totally of the opinion that the adult should be identified as being 18 years and over, and these legislations that deals with child marriages needs to be amended to be kept informed with the whole idea of 18 years and above.
The IRO is saying that you cannot, at least it was given from the vice president of that organization, that you cannot, or was it Mr.
I think it was
Mr. Maharaj? Yes,
right.
I think it was, yes. That you cannot force religious organizations to do anything they don't want to do. My understanding is that you can. If there's a law of the land, that is something that should be followed.
Right, exactly. I mean, religious organizations are confined like everybody else to be able to follow the Constitution and to be able to follow whatever laws. And now, although he made that statement on behalf of the IRO, we're now seeing where other members of the international religious organization, the Anglican Church, the Roman Catholic body, I think the Presbyterian Church recently, Seventh-day Adventists also recently coming out and more or less saying that that's not their position. So there seems to be some contradictory information even in the religious organization, religious bodies as to exactly what they mean. But I think in the end of the day, everybody seems to be of the same viewpoint that child marriages are wrong, totally wrong. I mean, myself, I'm the father of 2 young girls, and to think that at my daughter, at the age of 12 or 13, she could have the responsibility mentally and whatever to be married is totally wrong and totally erroneous. I mean, those things existed at the time when the convention was like that. But I mean, 50, 60, 70 years on,
yes,
society has evolved. I mean, even in India, they've outlawed child marriages.
That's
in
right.
several of the Muslim countries in the world, they've outlawed child marriages. So why is it still on the books in Trinidad and Tobago? It's something that really needs to be addressed. I don't know why it took this long.
Yes.
But of course, we know different things play out for different reasons. But I think it really has to be addressed now. Seriously, in the short term, I don't think it needs to be medium term or long term, but in the short term, address it. And really deal with different types of legislation, because that's another problem we have. Different legislation seems to say one thing or the other. Some say a legal age is 16, some say it's 14, some say it's 18. So there seems to be no set definition as to exactly what's the legal recognized age of adulthood in Trinidad and Tobago. So I think we need to have proper amalgamation of all these laws, to have one set date and one set criteria.
There seemed to be a consensus in the country, and I don't think what's going on in the country I don't think that is the issue. Really, it is very clear that almost everybody is in favor of having that alignment take place. I mean, the ministry in charge of that, the line ministry for that, has made it very clear that we must align this with dispatch. That's the government's position. But these religious organizations seem as though they are going to try to buck the trend no matter what.
Yeah, but is it religious teachings or is it a cultural thing?
Cultural thing.
And that's the difference that you need to balance. I mean, I mean, obviously, everybody has a right to religion under the Constitution. You have the right to practice your religion, and nobody wants to stop that. But then, if you go back to your teaching, is it a religious thing that they're talking about, or is it a cultural practice that has been going on for centuries within the religion because of certain things that may have taken place 100 years ago, 150 years ago? So I think those two things need to be looked at and taken apart. It's, for my mind, it's not a religious argument. It's more of a cultural argument within a religious framework.
That's well stated. Well said. 4 minutes after 11 o'clock, we will be joining up in short order with the Minister of Agriculture to deal with the issues we have identified, the issue of cocoa and the workers being laid off. As soon as we get that clear, we will be hooking up with the Minister, but we continue our discussion with Rishi Maharaj. I am sure those sentiments are shared. It has nothing to do with the Marriage Act, which is one issue, but it's a question of child abuse. So in a weird way, there is a connection there, isn't it?
There's always a connection one way or the other. So I mean, we need to really look at it holistically as a country, and try to really think: is it the way we want to move forward, or is it really find proper systems in place to be able to deal with this? And this is where you have now the Ministry of Social Development and the social sector, social services areas, having proper things in place to deal with the whole idea of child abuse that exists out there. I mean, we have a Children's Authority making the argument that they've had a numerous amount of cases that has come before them with regards to child abuse over the last year of their existence. And now, do they have the proper resources to be able to deal with these things? I mean, they have to work in partnership with the police service to be able to have things in place to take children out of these situations and have them set up in proper homes, have proper counseling services and stuff like that. So I think as a country, we really need to look at these things really from a holistic of a child. And really, we want children to grow up and be children and not really grow up with these kind of situations hanging over them.
I think it is. I think it is dangerous also and frightening to have a statement come out from an organization like the IRO saying we had unanimous consent, and then to be followed immediately by members saying not so. I thought I was dealing with the Gymnastic Federation for a moment.
Yeah, I mean, it seems to be when we say one thing inside and outside, it seems to be. Is it we don't know, because we weren't part of the meeting. Was there consent inside? But then when the public backlash started to happen, that eventually groups started to take themselves out of it and said, listen, no, we weren't at a part in the meeting, or we had no consensus with regards to that. So obviously, these things seem to come sometimes always in Trinidad and Tobago. So I think in the end of the day, we need to really have proper things in place to be able to deal with the whole idea of children and have laws and legislations in place to be able to protect children. Because, I mean, it's a scary environment that we live in. I mean, I have a daughter who's now turning 5 and starting primary school in September. And myself, my wife, and even the grandparents are freaking out with regards to, her going to primary school and the situation with regards to bullying in schools and stuff like that. So it's a frightening time right now to be raising children, and we need to have trust that the institutions are there to protect them.
It is also a difficult situation, but I think it's well said by the minister, not the minister, rather by the Archbishop of the Catholic Church, that this is statutory rape.
It is. It definitely is statutory rape. I mean, no way, from our point of view, can you disclose a person having sexual conduct at the age of 12 or 13 as being valid at all. I mean, there's no maturity from a body point of view to be able to bring a child. There's obviously problems with, and then we also have to balance that with a recent statement I think I heard recently by the head of one of these RHA, I can't remember which RHA it was, with regards to the amount of teenage pregnancies and births taking place of children under the age of 16. And whether or not reports are being made to the police, because of what I understand from that actually occurs. Sometimes these acts take place. It may be consensual or not, but on the law, of course, it's statutory rape. And the child gets pregnant. And what they do is now they use the guise of the legislation for a marriage to take place. So if a marriage takes place right now, husband can't testify against a wife can't testify against a husband. And they find some way to be able to couch it for it to be legal. And in my mind, it can't be legal and it can't be right.
It's not legal, it's not right, but it's very frightening that with the evolution of the world, that you have people in responsible positions who are seeking to defend this.
Exactly. I mean,
they talk about defending the indefensible. I mean, like, what?
And that's why I say you need to balance the argument from taking religious and cultural. And you're looking at them in two different forums. Is it a religious argument or is it a cultural argument? For me, it's more cultural than religious because, again, you look at the history that exists out there right now. In India, there's a growing consensus with regards to outlawing child marriages. I mean, it still happens in India, but obviously it's illegal. It's against the law. And then you have in the case of these Muslim countries where a lot of them are also now moving forward to put proper conventions and laws in place to be able to stamp it out.